Hey cats, it's Ed, Compare the Midsole Bud here. Never before have I received so many comments from the viewers and requests to compare the Streakfly against different shoes. I'm going to cover another 4 comparisons in today's video as we delve more into this interesting shoe. I'm not sure it's quite what everybody thought it was going to be. Let's get to it. Thanks for joining me once again on the channel, guys. Always appreciated. If you haven't done so already, help the channel out by clicking that subscribe button, but also clicking the bell below for notifications when I roll out those new videos for you. And you can give us a real boost by giving this video a thumbs up like and sharing the video with your running buddies. You can also support the channel by grabbing some merch from the links below, but also becoming an EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews Club member. There's 3 different tiers with various different perks, so you can interact more with myself and the viewers. So 4 more comparisons today against the Nike Zoomx Streakfly. Hopefully this one will get a more general release soon. In fact, I'm certain of it. It will be very, very soon. Some obvious and not so obvious comparisons today against that hot shoe. The Streakfly is one that a lot of people can't wait to try out, and others just, they're really not bothered. First up, we're up against the Liberate Nitro from PUMA. I forgot just how light this shoe is. I think it's about 220 grams in my UK size 11, so it's only about 20 grams or so heavier than the Streakfly. It will leave your wallet relatively heavy too, because this one can be picked up from as little as about 60 Earth credits right now. So it's about half the price of the Streakfly. I've got to be honest, I do prefer the upper fit of the Streakfly over the Liberate Nitro. This one comes up a little bit long. I think I can probably get away with a 10.5 in PUMA shoes. The toe box is a little wider on the Streakfly as well. This one's more torpedo-like. I think they've really dialed in the fit for the Streakfly. It's almost like a glove, like tailor-made. The width in the toe box really is a winner on this one. That's something I really liked actually in the Streak 7. That extra bit of toe box width, but the height in the Streakfly is just right. Not quite as containing an upper fit in the Liberate Nitro. Still a good shoe though for the price. The Nitro material underfoot is more a rebound style foam, less give to it and a little more bounce, where it's untamed squish and compression in the Zoomx underfoot in the Streakfly. I found at higher paces it's extremely forgiving. Over short distances perhaps a little bit less noticeable, but I think as an interval shoe the slightly lower weight that we've got here in the Nike and the slightly better upper fit perhaps hand the win to the Streakfly this time around. As I say, the PUMA Liberate Nitro is much cheaper here in the UK. You can get pairs around about 65 Earth credits or less sometimes. Half the price, but easily way more than half the performance. I did hear of one viewer being offered £300 for his pair of Nike Streakflies. I say hold on to your cash, guys. They'll soon be out and in greater numbers. Okay, lots and lots of viewers have requested this one. I can't even remember how many. It's loads. So here it is. Against the Pegasus Turbo 2. I'll tell you what, having this shoe in hand, it makes you realise just how light the Streakfly is. I used to think this was one of the lightest shoes I had, but just a couple of years down the line and the goalposts have moved. A top shoe of many runners over the last few years, this one. The dual midsole foam favourite is set to come back, of course, with that Pegasus Turbo Next Nature. That seems to have a crushed up, recycled Zoomx midsole material, a little bit different to what we see in the Streakfly. Up against the Pegasus Turbo 2, the squash and compression in the midsole of the Streakfly really is noticeable underfoot as soon as you put the shoe on. I think the overall fit of the shoe, certainly in my size at least, is far more true to size than the Pegasus Turbo 2 was. Quite a roomy shoe, this one, really. I think you could have probably gone down half a size in the Turbo 2. The React layer here underneath the Zoomx in the Pegasus Turbo 2 really does add some extra stability to things. It's like night and day actually between the two shoes. Not that I feel the Streakfly in any way is an unstable shoe. I think the upper's a little bit more containing in the Streakfly. There's a little less of it there. Feels perhaps a little bit more like a racer. That's not to say you couldn't have raced in the Pegasus Turbo 2. Certainly over some shorter distances. I'm not sure I'd want to take it up really far. I think similar toe box width between the two shoes, and profile wise I think there's little in it. Yeah, very similar. I mean, there's absolutely more midsole material here in the rear of the shoe, but I think some of the Zoomx actually cups around the foot a little bit, where pretty much all of it is underfoot in the Streakfly. I absolutely prefer the tongue in the Streakfly with that additional padding. It's positioned perfectly. It's kind of like a refinement, really, of what the Pegasus Turbo 2 could have been. All the things I loved about this shoe, they've just kind of refined and placed into this one. Outsole-wise, I think the Streakfly's also got the beating of the Pegasus Turbo 2. Absolutely insane amount of grip here, and you can really feel it on toe-off as well. A lower profile, full Zoomx training shoe here. Barely any weight to it whatsoever. If I could only pick one, it would certainly be the Streakfly here. Next up, we have the Adidas ADIZERO Takumi Sen 7. Now, this shoe in terms of weight isn't far off the Streakfly at all. I think it's about 207 grams in my UK size 11.5. It's a very narrow shoe though, certainly compared to the Streakfly. I think this shoe will remain as a staple for many racers out there who find that Sen 8 just too high in terms of stack, and also the Streakfly as well. When you think of the two shoes, you have 33mm of heel stack in the Streakfly versus 25.5 here in the Takumi Sen 7. A much more closer to the ground responsive feel. You know, it's far less squish from the boost material here in the forefoot, and a much firmer underfoot feel from that light strike too. It's just a much more old school racing vibe here in the Sen 7. The upper's absolutely glove-like, and that might be a total turn-off for some of you. I'm quite enjoying the space and the room in the Streakfly, although it does feel a little bit more like a training shoe compared to the Sen 7. Just loads less material here, and it's very containing. Absolutely, the Streakfly is much more forgiving than this Adidas model. The Zoomx in the Streakfly is about as far away as you can get from the boost and light strike in the Sen 7. Though I have found that it does start to soften up and flex a little bit after about 30 to 40 miles of use. I think that both of these shoes could be killer track options for some people, or even away from the track for intervals and reps. I think the outsole has got all the credentials required. It's got these multiple hard lugs in the midfoot and the heel, and it works a treat on the tracks too. There's no reason as to why the Streakfly won't work the same way as well. Superb, great grip up front here, very similar to that found in the Tempo Next Percent outsole. I think if the Streakfly is just too compressive for you for a 5k race, then the Sen 7 offers something to you at the other end of the spectrum. Okay, so bear with me here on the last one. I know it's a bit odd, it's a bit weird, they're two totally different shoes, but are they? Or do they just sort of fit together in perfect unison? Bit of a wild card here, up against the Invincible Run. Now, these have something very big in common. They are both non-plated, full Zoomx midsole shoes. There's no other foams going on in either of these two, it's just Zoomx. Yeah, we got about a 150 gram difference between the Streakfly and the Invincible Run, in my size at least. The upper, the outsole, quite different. And the price as well. This is much more costly than the Streakfly. I strangely think these shoes could pretty much cover all bases of training. You use them together in a combo, fast-paced tempo runs in the Streakfly, intervals or repeats perhaps, then digging these out for the long runs and those easy efforts. I think you've got all bases covered if you use this dynamic duo in training. The squash actually experienced underfoot is very similar between the two shoes. I think that they've utilised the outsole here in the Invincible Run to provide a little bit of rigidity, or it'd just be a total squash fest, just to provide a certain level of stability there. And of course you have that midfoot shank that's incorporated into the Streakfly to do just that in that model. I think that that outsole is especially important in the Invincible Run, as there's a major difference between these two shoes and how the foam has been implemented. If you look inside the Invincible Run, you'll see that there's no strobel board here. Aside from the insole, your foot is basically positioned directly on top of the Zoomx. That isn't the case in the Streakfly. There is a material strobel on top of the actual foam. Then of course you've got that crushed Zoomx insole that sits on top of that. I think they've utilised that in the Streakfly to provide an extra layer of stability underfoot. We've seen that in other Nike shoes, in fact, almost like a rubbery sort of layer that appears on some of the React shoes. We saw a similar thing too in the Vomero 16 underneath the insole. Both shoes use that more rubbery-like feeling Zoomx, which I'm sure is different to the more brittle stuff that we've experienced in the Vaporfly Streakfly Next Percent and the Alphafly Next Percent. So two Zoomx trainers here which both have very similar midsole feels, albeit one of them's a much higher stack. But is all that Zoomx really necessary on the Invincible Run? Here we've just got the servant spreading of Zoomx. It's the absolute bare minimum. I think using these two together in a bit of a combo is the ultimate midsole sandwich. So some interesting comparisons there, many that the viewers have actually requested over the last few days. I'll probably do a few more down the line once I've got some more miles into the Streakfly. Are you enjoying your pair? Or have you sent them back? Have they just not worked for you? Did they not live up to the hype? Let me know down in the comments. A quick musical interlude for you. I've been listening to the oddly calming sounds of Computer World by Kraftwerk. I love the track's numbers, and it's more fun to compute. Both tracks have a slightly more sinister edge to the melodies, which I really like. There's so much space there. It really does transport you to a different world, almost like you could be a piece of data that's navigating its way around the computer itself. I really like Kraftwerk's music, especially for running. It really does have that certain vibe and feel that I'm after. It really transports you away, takes your mind away from lots of things that are going on around you, lets you focus on the rhythm. Also helps me to be calm, I think, while I'm running as well. Do go and check this one out. Wonderful blips and bloops of Computer World by Kraftwerk. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with me to the end of today's video, guys. Always appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications, and also give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you